setup here. There we go. How are we looking? Hey, New Beginnings. I think Michael's on here somewhere too. There's probably about a 15-second delay between what comes up on my computer screen and what's live, so bear with me if I'm a few seconds behind. As you can see here, this is the palm, black palm that I was talking about the other day. It started out as a piece about this size. So this happens to be Indian rosewood, which will be in a future turning. But it started off as this. I've already got it turned and I got it finished on the outside. Finish came out really good. And so what I thought I would do with this is I'm going to turn the inside of this just barely. I'm going to go near the bottom. I'm going to take this off. I'm going to turn this piece of zebra wood, and then I'm going to glue them together, and then I'll finish the turning later on. So it's going to be kind of a parcel piece, but let's see if we can't get it started. Okay, hopefully you can hear me. In fact, I'll ask here. And I'll wait to see if anybody says anything. Yeah, and loud and clear. Okay, great. All right. I put classical music on in the background because I hate it being quiet in here, but you know that I won't get a copyright strike for that. I will try to tell it to turn it down just a little bit. Alexa, turn down the volume. There we go. Okay. Well, let's see. As Mike likes to say, mask on. And I will try and speak clearly through the mask. Let's get started on this. I'm using my 5/8 inch bowl gouge. This happens to be a Hurricane. I've got it nicely sharpened, and turn the speed up a little bit. See where we're at. It's a little like cutting grass. Just ride that bevel in each time. See how we're doing here. It does cut pretty smoothly if you have a nice sharp tool. It's a little rough here, but even though you got end grain here and side grain, well actually side grain right here, It does turn pretty well if you have a very sharp tool. What do you think so far? I know you go on the internet and you see a lot of bad things about black palm, but so far it hasn't been too bad. Like I said, as long as you keep a very sharp tool, a little bit like cutting bamboo. See, how close am I getting here? Let's see. Yeah, got quite a ways to go still. Yeah. Turn the speed up just a little bit. A lot of what you see in here is the dust. It gets a lot of dust. It grows as it's growing. You get sand and everything else in there too. So that's what's so hard on the blade, is that you get a lot of sand crystals cutting in there, and that really builds the blade. I think that's about where I'm going to stop for now. I've got it pretty much coned out. Let's see. Yeah, I think I see that. Yeah. Yep. Right in the center. Okay. So I'm going to take this off. Now you can kind of see what I got here. I got a nice cylinder is what I've got basically. So we're going to take the screws out of this. one of the reasons I didn't want to go too much towards the sidewalls, so I didn't want to nick these screws in the process. Although I didn't use very big ones. You don't have to on hard wood like this. Just need to have several of them. That does help a lot. And this one had 8. I wouldn't have done this with a 4-screw base plate. Yeah. Let me put these down. There we go. There, now I can hold it. Yeah. And this one has a little center screw on it too, so there we go. You can see through it a little bit right there in the center, but that's okay because that's going to come out anyway. So now that we've done that, put these aside. And let's get the other part up. Hey, Wilson. Let's see who else we got. Yeah, you don't have to be jealous. It's a working lathe, and that's why it's so dirty. You have a spanner already. Okay. Okay. So that part's going to go over here for now. We're going to work on this other piece. And since I have no plan on this specifically, we're going to have to kind of play it by ear. I want to get as close as I can without hitting anything. There we go. And I'll bring up the tailstock on this one. Just for now. Okay, everyone can see that okay? And let's see. There's still a little life left in this. Let's see if we can do with it. Push set from the bottom. And push set down from here. Do a little one over here. Okay. kind of define that out a little bit. We'll see what I can do with that. I don't know. Well, we've achieved circle. One more flat spot. I'm going to have to refine this just a little bit, but I'll get to that in a minute. Little scraper cut. Okay, Mike, that's okay. Be in and out. And I'm going to have to get a little bit more of that. Yeah, now we're starting to get something there. Nope. Ah, that's what I was afraid of. Well, I'm going to have to round out that side. Wasn't planning to it, but I guess I'll have to. Hey, Big Mex. Hey, Norm. Thank you, guys. And anybody wants to hit the like button, I'd appreciate that also. I'm just kind of forming this out right now. It gave me a little bit of it chipped off here, so I'm going to round this in. This will be the part that goes into the palm, I guess. Yeah, that's good. Okay. Yeah. Now I can slip this down a little bit. Undercut this roll. Okay. I'm trying a little something with my one of my scrapers here. What I like about using the scraper, it's not just good inside, it's also good for smoothing this out and making sure it's all kind of level and there's not a lot of scar marks in it. So when I go to sanding, it'll be a lot smoother also. You can take very light cuts with it. You can actually make some pretty heavy cuts too. You see how that starts to form it. So, and they'll get some more forming with the sanding and all. Take the edge off here just a little bit. Also looks like right here is not 100% flat, so I'm going to see if I can't straighten it out just a little bit more. Let's see. Yeah, I can see where it's just a little bit off flat. Okay, let's see. See how that bounces there? Okay. This. Ease up a little bit. I think with just a little bit of sanding I'll be able to get that smooth, but let me try one more thing. By the way, haven't got a chance to put this up yet, but thanks, Mike, for the whacking shack. And you see I got the 7th Rogers, 7.7 rockets here. Let me see. Okay, about as square that's going to be. All right, let's see what we can do here. What do we got going over here? Hey, Kat, good to see you. And Mike, and well, everyone's saying hi to each other. That's good. Thanks, Kat, for showing up. You said you'd try. So, those of you that missed the first part, I already turned the black tom piece into this shape. Now I'm trying to make a pedestal sort of for it. We'll see how that comes out. I'm going to switch tools here. Can't get in real close with this, but I'll try. Well, wait a minute. Whoop, 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 whoop. Aha! Found a little bit of reason for the white wobble. Remember that little rubber gasket I mentioned you guys to use? Well, if that rubber gasket starts to get pinched, right there, it starts to make it wobble. Yeah, see, I'm getting a little bit of wobble in this. So I'm going to take that off. I think this might be getting stretched out a little bit. Might be time to put a new one on. Yeah, see here? That's why these are nice and cheap, though. I can put another one on. Doesn't cost me hardly anything. There we go. Since I got a dozen of them for about $4 or $5, it doesn't cost much to put a new one on. Right there. Now I'm spinning true again. So when I watch that, that's probably what was making this bounce just a little bit too. Okay, let's see if we can do this now. That does a nice smooth job. Let's see if I can do this. I don't know if I can do this left-handed. I'm not very good at that. So I'll try and come in this way. I have, let me see here. This is a spindle gouge. I might be able to use that for this. Well, not a spindle gouge. Just squeeze that out. Oops. There we go. Okay. I think I can do the rest with the sanding. What do you think, guys? Is that getting it or not? Let me know what you think. Yep, I'll get this one in here. Okay. So, okay, let's get a little sanding going on this. Now, I don't know if you guys have seen this before. I like this right-angled drill for my sanding. One, it's a lot easier to handle this way than holding something out like this and putting the pressure on your wrist all the time. Second, I can do it with two hands, and it's reversible, battery. And it can go inside a bowl and really get into the corners and stuff a lot better than a straight-in one can. So I use this for a lot of different things. This is an 80 grit at the moment because I want to really knock off some of those little spurs. Guess it would be better if I put this on. Excuse the noise for a minute, but this does make a little bit more noise. But it also picks up everything really well. Okay, now I'll put it in reverse. Going the other direction again. You really see the dust come off of it. One thing when you're standing inside a bowl, if you have it going in the normal rotation direction clockwise, and you're inside a bowl, you can't go this way because you're going into the bowl at an angle where it's going to push back against your sanding mechanism. So you want to go with the flow. So you might have to be going up the bowl here, and then in reverse, you may be going down the bowl this way to avoid getting that pushback as you're putting it through sanding paces. So I'm going to get a little bit on this. I want to get that old wax off of there that was on this piece to begin with. Otherwise it won't take a finish. And see, it starts to put it on the piece of sandpaper too. So we need to get that cleaned off here a little bit. There we go. And otherwise, all you're doing is melting the wax back on itself. You're not really removing it. Okay, that's lower grit. And this one. I like these ones that have the little piece that comes off the edge, the little scalp cut, because it helps you go around corners and stuff and not miss or not try tearing the paper off. It actually does better sanding job for you. They cost almost the same amount, but a much better deal to use these, in my opinion. Let's go back forward the other way here. About 1300 RPM. Should be enough. And we're getting pretty good there. I'm going to do something I like to do, especially with my pens and stuff. Do a little cross like this before you go to the next one. And what that does is that helps you raise the grain a little bit and helps you remove a little bit more when you go to the next grit. Now you do that on your pens, it'll also help a lot. Okay, so you're going this way and then you're going to be spinning this way, so you knock off just a little bit more in there, get a little bit nicer. Okay. And this will be the final grit. I think this is 400. And I don't think we need to go any further than that. Okay. Let's see. And I'll stop here in a second and I'll take a look at your comments. So, free to ask your questions here. And I'll try and answer them as we go. Not sure why they're playing the graduation song Pomp and Circumstance in the background. I don't feel like I've graduated from anything here. pin. Let's see what we can do when we apply some finish to this. I can take the helmet off for a minute. Let's see, Mike Wilson says pin turning next live, maybe, I don't know. I've got some pin turning blanks, I just don't do much of it anymore. It is a weird looking sanding drill, you're right, but it's a right, hopefully it's something you can get at Home Depot, but it's a right angle drill bit is what it is. It's a right angle drill, and they're pretty common, and they're used for a lot of different things. Like if you're trying to drill into a tight area, you can slide it in there and drill sideways or something like this instead of instead of trying to get in there with a regular saw or I'm sorry, with a regular drill, which you just can't get your hand in there. This gets into those spots that you can't, or driving nuts or anything else. So it really does have some good purposes to it. What's your favorite exotic wood? Well, I don't know. I've used this zebra wood a lot. My favorite wood still is olive or birch. I mean, those are the two that I like to turn the most. But if you're talking about exotics, Paddock is nice. I've got some of that, and that's pretty much it. I mean, obviously, I made a guitar out of African mahogany, but I'm not going to turn African mahogany. It's too hard to get a hold of. You have birch in shocking amounts. Thanks a lot. Make me feel bad all over, okay? I'm lucky when somebody says, "Hey, I've got a birch tree that fell over in the last storm. Can you take a few pieces?" And unfortunately, when I go to do sales and I turn birch and olive, those bowls go first before anything else. I could turn the ugliest bowl you can imagine, but the beautiful grain in those things just catches people's eyes, and they buy it, at a premium price. I mean, you turn walnut, for instance, if it's a little bit muddy or it doesn't quite have the chatoyance that you like, it just kind of sits there compared to the birch and the olive, because they have such beautiful grains in them, and it just pops. I do have some walnut here. Yes, I do have actually quite a bit of walnut. I'll show you a little bit around the shop here. You'll see that I have a lot of different things to turn. Now I'm getting some Valkyrie music out here. So let's put a quick finish on this, and I think I'll start by doing just a little bit of my normal tung oil, mixed with a little bit of lemon oil, and it's getting a little clogged up there, I think. Just to get it to kind of absorb it. And you can see how that starts to look. It also will show me if I missed any places. Make sure I shake this up good. Always shake your finishes. Make sure that they are well mixed before you start putting them on, or you may get too much oil or too much resin and not enough of the other things that go with it. And over time, that will make a difference in your finish, and also as you get to the bottom of the bowl or bottle. So always shake. Okay. The nice thing about this is it doesn't harden your brush, so I can use this brush for dozens and dozens of projects before I have to throw it away. And honestly, this is one of those brushes you get in the box at Harbor Freight. They'll call a chip. They're called a chip brush, and I think it's like $9 or $10 for about 100 of these things or something like that. And I've had the same box for a long time. It's still sucking it in here. What do you think now? Is that starting to look better? Like starting to look like something? Yeah. Well, let that set for a little bit. Okay. As soon as I get some on the bottom here. There, now you can see a little bit better. I think that'll work. Let it kind of go on like so. Make sure I didn't miss anything. Okay. And I'm going to take this off and let this go for a little bit. Oh, I see the spot I missed. There we go. Okay, we'll take this off and set it aside for a little bit. And that's where having that little rubber gasket kind of helps, because it's a lot easier to take this off. Ah, there we go. Boy, is that light now. It took a little bit of weight off of that thing. Okay, great. Well, I'll give you a little view of that, if I can. That's kind of what it's going to look like. A little bit. And then I got to still drill down through, so I got to glue it together, drill down through, and we'll see what we can do with that. But I might have to do that next time. I'm not sure we'll be able to finish that today, but we'll see. But here's our next piece. So let me get you back up here. Okay. Hock this up, and I'll vacuum a little bit here. Let me see what we got. So we're trading wood now. It looks like, huh? Maple and poplar for walnut, or how's this work? Rhododendron. I had never seen used rhododendron before. I have used manzanita, and if anybody's turned manzanita, I use that for a couple pens. It is hard as rock. Manzanita is harder than this palm is, I'm sure. And it's beautiful when you get it polished up. It shines, it glows, really. It holds a finish well, but it is a very, very hard wood. There is no moisture in manzanita. It's basically a high prairie, dry growth kind of plant, and if you can get a hold of some enough manzanita to make it worthwhile. I've done a couple bowls out of manzanita, but it's hard to find a big piece of manzanita. Okay, some of you have, and some of you have not seen my vacuum that I built that has the noise suppressor on it, but I'm going to turn it on here. That is a shop vac you're hearing. It's running at around 60 decibels, whereas your shop vac runs around 90 something, and it doesn't lose any of its suctioning power. And I built this in mind of being able to clean up the shop and still be able to talk to people. And I didn't want to lose any of its function, so I had to put in a system that would remove the sound or break up the sound without losing the suction. And that's what I was able to do by putting in a baffling system that breaks up the sound waves as it goes through the machine. Basically, what you see here is it goes from this into this chamber up here. All the dirt and everything goes in here. Air goes out and around and into the intake of the vacuum and comes out the back side where the baffles are. And that's the basics of it. It's relatively simple. It was a 2 or 3 day build, I think, to build the box and the wheels and everything. And I only have to go in about once a year to check the filter and so forth in the vacuum cleaner. And when I do, there's almost no dirt. About 99.9% of all the waste material that I vacuum up goes into the bucket with the tornado or dust deputy, and I empty this 5-gallon drum about once every week or two, depending on how busy we've been in the shop. But does its job. And if anybody wants to know how to put something like that together, let me know. I'd be happy to show you. But it cleaned everything up. So it says, Jeff, you must watch Mike's lives. He is organized and keeps his shop clean. Yeah, Mike and I have a lot of discussion about him making sure he's going to clean his shop, and he does. He does a really good job of keeping that cleaned up. In this case, that palm can be rather an irritant. You don't want to be breathing that dust up anyway, so that's why I wanted to get it out of the system, and that way it's in that system and I won't have to worry about it. Sycamore, yeah, I used sycamore before. In fact, I've turned several pieces of sycamore, and it's a nice wood. It's not the most dazzling piece of wood, but and it's pretty hard, but it does make for good bowls, good turning. And yeah, it's something I've used a few times. Neighbor around about 2 blocks down actually dropped a big tree, and I went and cut off all the pieces I could, and then I brought them back one of the bowls that I made and thanked them for their contribution. Now, I'm going to see about this. Am I free now? Okay. Let's see. Okay. This is going to be a little scary. And I'm not quite sure how to go in on this, but I'm going to go in small with this Glenn Lucas blade. I hope it's sharp enough. Let's see, and see if we can tick things off very slowly on this. So wish me luck on this one. This is not going to be a big bowl, because the company that sold this to my wife ripped her off, basically. This is a $42 piece of wood, everybody, just so you know. And I had to put that poplar piece on the back with glue. So hopefully the glue holds. But this is only this thick. So I'm going to try and make a shallow bowl out of it, leave the rest of this out if I can. And yeah, well, wish me luck, because right here is actually where I got less than an inch to the bottom from here. So we'll see. would appreciate anybody hitting the like button if you haven't already. Yeah, I think I'm going to switch up. You know, I got this brand new one. This is one I got recently from BM Wood Turning. Let's give it a try, just to see, because I haven't had a chance to really turn with it before. It's got a little different angle to it. And again, I'm going kind of slow. I want to make sure that this glue is holding on the back. And I go up just a little bit more. Well, you can start to see a little bit of the red that comes out here. I think I can come out a little bit further. Let's see. Okay, now we're starting to get in there. Starting to form a little bit. What do you think? If I can come out to about here without losing this, I think I'll be okay. So I'm going to try and come out just a little bit further. What do you guys think? I'll see if I can... I see Big Mex is still playing with his wedgies. You're right, Kat. It is very sketchy. It's a piece of burl. It's an Australian burl. I think it's called oh gosh, Medalia or something like that. Looks like Afzalia to me, which is African, but we'll give it another shot here and see what we can do. Yeah, now see it's starting to pop out a little bit. Let's see. Oh, that hit with a finger. Oh, watch that. You'll notice, you guys that use the carbide, you go straight in like so. When you're using a tool with that like this, and you're trying to ride the bevel, you want to come in straight out here. But as you get towards the middle, you'll notice me subtly turning it so that I'm only using a little bit of it. Because if I'm going straight in like this and it's in the center or it's spinning faster, it can catch and it can gouge. So what you want to do is you start out here, and you notice it's straight up and down. And as I get towards the middle, you turn it. And when I get to here, I'm almost completely turned, almost 90 degrees. Now, I got to remember that this is not part of the bowl, so I can only go to this place. So I'm kind of trying to see where I'm at. I'm about halfway through. Okay, I think we've established about the outer limits of this bowl. Maybe I can go just a hair more, and bigger is better, right? So I'm going to chance it, but I don't want to go too far out here. It's going to be an interesting, well, it looks like a moonscape right now. Oops. That wasn't good. Let me see what I'm doing here. Oh, okay. Nothing serious. Okay. Now we're going to call it the big guns here. Scrapers. How do you think that's coming, guys? Getting somewhere with it, huh? Okay, let me see here. I could probably go maybe about another 1/8 of an inch to the bottom. And that's all I dare do. What are we saying here? Oh, I'm kind of covering up the area there. I'm sorry. Sorry, I'm getting in the way there a little bit. I'll move that. Sorry about that, guys. There. Hopefully that's a little bit better. And you can see it better. I'm going to go to a different one here. A little smaller, a little sharper angle here. See what I can do with that. I think that's about as far as I can go. I don't know. I don't think I can go much further out. I might be able to get a little bit more here. Yeah, let's see what we can do here. Well, I think that's about as far as I can go in here. Maybe just a little bit more. Let me see. We can get lower angle and zoom in. I will try and get you a tighter shot for this, but I wanted to be able to make sure that I kept it in the picture, so I'm gonna hopefully that will. I can do a different angle if you'd like. Let me try this. Come in from this angle and let you see a little bit of this angle on it. I don't know if that'll help or not, but we'll see. I use my little handmade negative rake scraper. Put a little edge on it. There we go. Let's see what we can do with this. You can see I got that. Probably much closer than that right there. But I got to be able to get in here and do it too. So not sure if I can get any better shot than that, but yeah, that's getting pretty tight. Let me see. Scrapers are wonderful things. I have them in a lot of different angles, but I think that's going to be it for that part of it. So I'm going to have to move you back over to the other one, I think, for this next part. I can't stand there and not be sanding. I dropped you. Not a good thing to do with your phone. There. How's that angle, guys? Okay, I'm gonna get you. Is that a better angle for you? I can't. Okay. All right. Let's see if we can finish this thing off. Now, this is going to look a lot different when we get it sanded down. That's for damn sure. Okay. I'll put this on, and I'm going to show you something else that I don't use all the time, but I use it on many of my bark pieces. I'll show you that in just a minute here too. We're just going to get this going. See what I meant by you want to go this way. If you get on this way, you're fighting and fighting. You do it this way. Yeah.
doing is looking up because I'm going into this because I have to go down this way. Set of these, and this happens to be a 320 grit, and they are made for going around things like barbs and other things that you kind of take the sharp edge off, smooth it out, make it ready for being have a finish put on it. And you have to be really careful. It's pretty nice to take off, like I said, take off the edges a little bit. So I can really get into all the little grooves. These come in various grits. You can get 80, 420, everything in between. I get these on Amazon. I've had these for a couple years now. They do not wear out. Nylon, and it's bristled, and it has a little bit of grit on it, and it just really does a great job of smoothing these over. It makes it feel good for the hand. So instead of holding something that feels like cactus, it feels a little bit smoother. It doesn't quite stick. Out sometimes. I think. But yeah, now it still has the peaks. And nothing's been damaged, but there's all smoothed out just a little bit more. Just a little bit nicer way to finish it. Now let's finish the inside of this bowl. And get to putting some slow, measured strokes when you do this. Okay. Now I can turn all this off. Yeah, Kat, they are very versatile. And for your grill, yeah, I love it. Now, we're going to get to see what this burl looks like next, because I'm going to, sorry for the lighting here, I am going to put a little denatured alcohol at first, just to get any little dust off of there. this off of here. There we go. And I'll show you something else. You see these towels I'm using? These are surgical towels. They've been used and sanitized in a surgical setting. They have no lint. They are sturdy. They do not give off anything. They can be washed over and over. And you can buy a bundle of them for like 20 bucks. That'll last you a long, long, long time. So if you're tired of trying to find t-shirts to tear up or something like that, and you want to have something that you can use to put finishes on, there we go. I'm just going to clean that out a little bit. Just clean that out a little bit. There we go. Get some of the dust off of this thing. In fact, I might even use the vacuum cleaner here for a second just to see if I can get a little more off of there. Okay. The tree tumor. Well, that's one way of calling it, I suppose. Sometimes it's a wound fix, too. I mean, you get some of these around places where a branch broke off. You know, so I suppose you could call it, it's any place where there's been a wound and it's treating itself. All right, so we'll do a couple finishes on this. You're going to need to use that brush in here. And it starts to come out a little bit. And this is what's going to take a little bit of time, is brushing all the little nooks and crannies in here. It's mostly the crannies. The nooks get carried off by themselves, I think. Let's see. Again, I appreciate everybody coming and watching today. I do appreciate that, and hopefully we've had a little bit of fun in here. I'm going to see if we can get this finished off here. Kind of tedious, I know. Watching a guy paint is kind of like watching paint dry. It's hopefully you guys are having a good time in the conversations right now. What's Mike sharing now? That's too much information. Oh, this finish. This is my. This is just the one I mixed myself. It's tung oil and linseed and a little bit of mineral oil.
It smells great. It smells like fresh squeezed citrus. It doesn't clog anything up. It gets absorbed, and you can do several coats of this if you want. What happens with tung oil, much like linseed oil, is it will absorb. You go back and put another one, and it will absorb. And when it stops absorbing, you're done. You have hardened the wood, and you've filled in all the places where it was dry. In this particular case, I think there was some sort of finish of some sort. I don't know what on the outside of this burl. I can't tell because it wasn't wax or anything like that. But just the way it's finishing here, I think they might have dipped it in something. But that's okay because it's looking really good. And this dries pretty quickly, about 20 minutes usually. In this case, I think we can probably, let's see, probably do this in one coat here. Okay. Now stop doing that because if I keep doing that forever, it's going to get crazy on me. So we'll do that. And I might even spin it slowly. Just to kind of get it to help dry it a little bit. I do notice something on the back here. Some of the glue started to give way on the outer edge of this thing, so it probably won't be hard to pop that off. Usually I use a hot glue gun. I may not need to. I may just need a chisel and a little hammer and just pop it off. But what are you thinking? Is it looking pretty good? Does it look presentable now? Hey Ryan, good to see you. Yeah, when you don't have much to work with, you got to work with what you got, right? And this didn't give me much to work with, but you can throw your keys or change into it, or just I don't know, put a candle on top of it and burn candle. You know, if you put the right finish on it, and I may still do that. I'm not sure. I may set this down and later on decide to put like a lacquer coat or two on it, or shellac, just to kind of let that soak in. But I like it pretty much. Let me see if I can get something to knock this off with. In honor of Whacking Shack, I'll use my Sheffield steel antique here and use it for what it wasn't intended in my mallet, which, by the way, if somebody wants to send me a better mallet, I've been using this one for years. It works great. Yeah, we're coming off. Let me come over here. And you can see what the bottom looked like. So I'll have to clean that up later, but this is what the bottom of it is. So I was hoping more of this would come through on the top side, and it did to a point. And so there it is. What do you think? Later on I'll clean this off and put a little sealer on the bottom, and it'll be ready for sale. Don't know if I can get 40 or 50 bucks out of it to at least recoup my cost. But who knows? Maybe if I put it out there, somebody will really want that and say, that's what I need. and I'll pay you $65 for it or something. What do you think? What would you price this at? Anybody? Let me know. $250, huh? Well, I appreciate that, Kat, but if I could squeeze $250 out of some of the people around here, they'd have to stop paying taxes in California first. Oh, now we got the chainsaw carver in here. Good. Welcome. Okay, guys. Well, I do have one other piece, but I wasn't planning to turn it today. But I did want to show you a couple things before we head out. I will post pictures of how these things finally looked, but we're going a little long now. We've been an hour and a half, and I think we're going to need to cut it off here pretty soon. But stick with me. I thought I'd show you a little bit around here. You've seen my lathe, and you've seen some of these things in some of my other videos. This is my curtain that I talked about putting up, and there, of course, is the track track. And we did a video, but as you can see, I've got several pieces ready to go. And this is just the stuff I have in the shop right now. I also have all my pen pieces over here. And by the way, if somebody would like some pen pieces, let me know. Maybe we can work something out, because I've got apple and eucalyptus, cocobolo, all different kinds. And over here, there's sycamore, like somebody said, sycamore, black walnut. I have a nice big piece of walnut up here. And of course, you never throw anything away. This is a lot of my birch pieces that I still have left that I can use for glue ups or whatever. So, and then I've got my other shack full of wood too, and a couple of oak burls that I haven't touched that are about 25 pounds each. So I'm going to say thanks, guys, at this point. I really appreciate you all being here. And I know I don't have the kind of a pile of wood that Mex and some of the others have. California is a little bit different, but I do have sequoia and redwood, and I can turn some of that too from once in a while. And the price is right because it was all free, most of it. I didn't pay for much of any of this except the ones you saw today that my wife bought for me, and I thought I better. And if it screwed up, I could blame you guys and say, well, they told me to do it. So, Mike, if you want to make me a mallet, that'd be great. I'd appreciate that. Make sure you sign it for me, though, because it's got to be signed, or it's just a mallet. So, I'll be talking to all you guys soon, and we'll see you this weekend. And I'll let you know when the next one's coming up. Thanks a lot, guys. Appreciate it.